So moms and dads, in the last video we talked about how dyskinesia drives disafferentation, problems with input to the brain via the spinal cord and the spinal column, and how that triggers this thing that we call a dysautonomia. Dysautonomia gone long enough, we begin to see symptoms. We begin to see these things become potentially diagnoses. The scientific term for that is what is called dysponesis. What that actually means is errors in energy output and expenditure. Meaning, garbage in equals garbage out. If the information that's coming into the brain is not coming in as the brain expects it to, over time what will happen is we'll begin to see symptoms, sometimes small symptoms like colic, reflux, constipation that starts small but then becomes longer and more significant and more all-encompassing. Then we start watching there becomes more challenges socially, with temperament, with their ability to handle stress and anxiety, and we start watching these things evolve. And the dysponesis, the errors in the way the brain is managing the input, the energy output issues, the inability to adapt the way that they should to common stressors, now it evolves and it becomes more and more a significant part of your life or your child's life, to the point where in most cases we're seeing diagnoses. And diagnoses now, because nothing is switching the brain off to go back into healing and development mode. So now the brain is stuck in this cycle where the nerves are so wired and so fired down this pathway, and the brain's ability to recover is so depleted. Now we're having to put labels on, because now the child is dealing with this set of symptoms that have become this ongoing, perpetual, almost self-feeding cycle in the nervous system. And what ends up happening over time is that the brain will become more and more wired for this, and it'll start wearing down the brain's reserves more and more and more, until we start seeing now eventually what is going to be considered a disconnection. And that's when things start to really become very problematic, because now then when a child becomes disconnected is when we start seeing the most significant symptoms in that child. We'll talk about that in the next video. Hang in there. We'll see you in the next one.